What's the deal, my people? You know it is Don Tony Teflon, and I'm back at you another one, and this one is, will Varys flip on Daenerys in Season 7? Now we know that Varys in the show isn't portrayed the same way in the books. And in the books, he is more of a slimy, greasy character who's lurking in the background, pulling the strings. And we see him do some form of this in the show. But it seems like he's become such a fan favorite that they have watered him down. And we've seen them do this to many characters on the show that are fan favorites. But in the books, we see that Varys has a plot to put another person on the Iron Throne that is not Daenerys. But they have not shown that in this season. So it's possible, I think, that they do a form of this. So let's go and break down who this person is, and I'll explain to you exactly what's going on with Varys and his plan to put someone else on the Iron Throne other than Daenerys. Now, when Meleys the Monstrous died on the Stepstones, it was said to be the end of the male line for House Blackfyre. And we hear that from Illyrio Mopatis. And it's important to know that it was Illyrio Mopatis that said this. Now, the significance is that he says the last male line of the Blackfyres. And there's no reason to point out that point, that it's the last male line unless there is a female. Now that brings up Sarah. Now Sarah is the second wife of Illyrio Mopatis, who is described as a woman with big blue eyes and pale golden hair that just happens to be streaked with silver. Now when he married her, the Prince of Pentos was so upset because Illyrio was first married to his cousin, closed the palace to him forever. And still Illyrio did not care, he claims, because he was so happy with this girl, Sari. However, the Barvosi trading galley that happened to go by the name of Treasure brought more than treasure with it. When it stopped over in Pentos, it also brought the Grey Plague. And this is what killed Illyrio's wife. So when we look at all this, Meleys being the last male line, Illyrio's wife having Targaryen, or should we just say Valyrian features, Illyrio willing not to be cool with the Prince of Pentos over this woman, and then her dying of grayscale. And grayscale, of course, is a curse that was called down upon the Valyrian people after these people prayed to the Mother Rhaen. So the Targaryens could be more likely to get this disease. And we do see this with Shireen Baratheon, and we know that the Baratheons are just a bastard line of House Targaryen. Now, it does not mean that any Valyrian who gets exposed to grayscale will get this. Because it's a possibility that after all these years that some Valyrians have built up a tolerance to this disease. That being said, it is most likely that she is the surviving female line of the Blackfyres. Now, Varys then claims that he has Aegon, who is the surviving son of Rhaegar Targaryen, and he has been raised by Jon Snow. Now, the two are both going by the name of Griff, and the young boy Griff, what they call him young Griff, has just happened to dye his hair blue. And when we see him, we know that he definitely has Valyrian features or has Valyrian blood in him. And they claim that he is Rhaegar's son. Now this should be the final proof that we need to know that R plus L does equal J. And that Rhaegar does have a son that is alive. It's just not Aegon. It's Jon Snow. And the reason George R. R. Martin brings us this character of Aegon is to show us that the son of Rhaegar would have a better claim, or should I say a truer claim, to the Iron Throne over Daenerys Targaryen. Now Illyrio then gets the Golden Company, a company that was formed by the Blackfyres to fight for Aegon. And then he says that some contracts are signed in blood over gold, which means that they are fighting for blood. And the blood they are fighting for is not Targaryen blood, but Blackfyre blood, which Aegon holds. Now, Jon Snow was a man that was in love with Rhaegar Targaryen. And we know this by the way in the books that he talks about him. He calls him my prince, and he believes that he let his prince down when he did not defeat Robert Baratheon. And that's why he got exiled. And they lied and said that he drank himself to death. And that made him a perfect patsy to raise the son and to really believe this fact that this boy was still alive. But we know the boy was killed because the mountain says unequivocally that he killed this boy on his deathbed, which the mountain thought he was going to die when he says that he killed him. So why would the mountain lie about that when he thought he was going to die? So we know that the real Aegon is really dead. But Jon Connington, being in love with Rhaegar, would not question this. That is why he is the perfect patsy to raise him. When we see that Aegon is supposedly raised as Jon Snow really was raised. He was raised around beggars. He knows what it's like to go hungry. He knows what it's like to be looked down upon. The same thing that really Jon Snow was raised as, right? And that should be the final proof that we all need to know that R plus L equals J. Period. Now, Jon Connington is unaware that this is not Rhaegar's son. As I said, he was in love with the Rhaegar, and this is the reason why he would just accept this. So he is the perfect patsy. So why does Aegon hold this importance to Varys as well? Well, in my opinion, and I think many other people's opinion, Varys is a Blackfyre. And he has no dick, so he can make no heir. And this is the reason why the Red Priest picked him out of everybody else and paid so much money for him. And this is the reason why the blood magic just worked when he made a dick kebab out of his shit. Because he has Targaryen blood. And this is also the reason why he shaves his big head bald. Not to show his silver hair, and it's possible he is related to Sarah in some way. And that Aegon, or the fake Aegon as he's known in the fandom as Fagon, is truly Illyrio and Sarah's child. And they are passing him off as Rhaegar's child to win public favor with the people. And that would be the whole plot. Now you must understand that when Illyrio gave Daenerys over to the Dothraki, he did not expect her to survive, let alone hatch 3 dragons out of this situation. So they had to flip the script when this all happened. And she got this big army and these 3 dragons, and they had to start a new plan. Because the original plan was to have the Lannisters and the Starks fight each other. While that fighting was going on, the Dothraki horde, with Viserys as its leader, would come in and try to take over Westeros, and then they would bring up Rhaegar's supposed son to defeat them as the true Targaryen and maintain order, and this would finally put the Blackfyres back on the throne, or on the throne like they always should have been. And I'm a Blackfyre, not supporter, but I am one who believes that the Blackfyre should truly be the people on the throne. Because when a king legitimizes you, that is the end of it to me. It is all over. You are no longer a bastard. So then it goes to the highest born son, which happens to be a Blackfyre, so he should have been king when it's all said and done. But that's my opinion, and I can do another video and explain that whole situation for you. So, when Varys says that he is for the realm, he is not for the realm. He is really for the realm being controlled by Targaryens. And not just any other type of Targaryens. The Blackfyre Targaryens. So I think that it's possible for this to happen in the show. And they could use Jon Snow as Aegon. So in the show, we know we do not have Aegon, which should provide further proof that he's a fake. Because if he wasn't, he would be in the show. But they do have Jon Snow, because he really is Rhaegar's son. And he is needed. So I believe that Varys could switch sides from Daenerys at some point and try to join up with Jon Snow, the true son of Rhaegar, thus giving us a form of this Blackfyre situation and a sort of a Dancer with Dragon. But it would have to be some way that he finds out that Jon Snow was Rhaegar's son. And that's how I would see it. Then we would have to have Daenerys somehow become a kind of power hungry in order for everything to break perfectly. Now, as I said in the show, Varys is played as more of a good guy than a bad guy, and Daenerys is also a little bit watered down. So they might not want to show her in that light. but I do think it's a good chance that at some point Daenerys could get full of herself, start killing people. Varys could see this, find out Jon Snow's lineage, and switch sides and go over to Jon Snow in season 7. So what do you think? Do you think it's possible that Varys will flip and turn on Daenerys, and we will see a form of the dance of dragons that we see in the books, that we know is going to happen in the books? Let me know in the comment section. And also make sure you hit that thumbs up button. And before you do that, make sure you hit that bell so you are alerted to all the videos that I put out when I do put them out. And I hope that you can hear a better audio quality, because I've been working on that and I'm trying to get that right for you. So if it does sound better, my audio, please let me know that it does, so that I know I'm at least on the right track and getting that straightened out. Also, look for a new podcast that I'll be doing, and I'll post up a link to the podcast. I'll put the podcast on my channel. It is a podcast. It's called The Review Champs. It's me and my man Mojini, and we will be reviewing everything from UFC fights to boxing matches to, you know, other shows, back in the day shows, anything we could think of. We're going to be reviewing that. So if you're interested in anything like that, please take a look at that. It'll be an hour-long podcast, and we will do one every week. So, if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this, please spread this across the realm, and please subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace! And stay sexy.